Today I'm going to cover one of the most well-known authors of the 20th century, Upton Sinclair. Born in Baltimore, Maryland in 1878 to an alcoholic father and a religious mother, Sinclair did not get along so well with his parents. He perceived his mother, Priscilla Hardin Sinclair, a strict Episcopalian, as oppressive, not allowing him to drink tea, coffee, or alcohol. His father, Upton Sinclair Sr., was once a highly respected man in the South, but after the Civil War and the Reconstruction era, he was financially ruined. At the same time, Sinclair frequently visited his maternal grandparents, who were millionaires. Living in these two opposite social settings greatly affected his works. Although many people know Sinclair as a two-book author, the two books being The Brass Check and The Jungle, Sinclair wrote many, many more works. In his lifetime, he wrote 90 books and over 100 works, covering a variety of topics. The Lenny Budd Collection was an 11-book series which follows an American boy living through the First World War, the Great Depression, and the Second World War, and meeting many people from various cultures and socioeconomic classes. Lenny, the main character, is confident enough to meet the world leaders at the time, such as Churchill, Stalin, Hitler, and Roosevelt. And although he is most known for his muckraking series, exposing corruption in big business, Sinclair wrote a variety of books, ranging from autobiographies to psychology. The Sylvia series was an autobiography on his second wife named Mary Craig Sinclair, when she was a child. Sinclair had even written books about his diet and nutrition, as shown in his 1911 book, The Fasting Cure. He believed that periodic fasting was important to health, saying, "I had taken several fasts of 10 or 12 days duration, with the result of a complete making over of my health." And he even delved into some psychology in his 1930 documentation, The Mental Radio, which covered the mental state of Mary Craig Sinclair. Although most of his works are fiction or pseudoscience, his characters are based on actual people or his own experiences. In the writing of The Jungle in 1906, he had spent 7 weeks in preparation working as a Chicago meatpacker to research his novel. The Brass Check, written to expose yellow journalism, was about the techniques used by William Randolph Hearst. Oil was based on the life of Edward L. Doheny, a U.S. oil tycoon. The reason why his muckraking books are so well known is because they had huge impacts on American society. The Jungle contributed to the passage of the Pure Food and Drug Act and the Meat Inspection Act. The Brass Check also contributed to the first code of ethics in journalism ever to be published. The main novel we will focus on is Oil, which talks about labor unions and the Teapot Dome scandal. The main characters of the book are J. Arnold Ross, who was a wealthy oil tycoon and the father of Bunny. Ross, who is commonly known as Dad, is ruthless in his business pursuits and puts his workers under the most terrible conditions. There's Paul Watkins, the socialist friend of Bunny, who teaches Bunny about socialism, and Eli, the preacher who claims to tell the one true word, but actually promotes Ross's business instead. Throughout the book, Bunny is conflicted as to whether or not side with his capitalistic father or his socialist friend, Paul. The book explores many aspects of the time period, and shows off Sinclair's political views. It portrays Eli as using religion to increase capital profit, and reflects Sinclair's distaste for religion, which is elaborated deeper in his book The Profits of Religion. Eli, based on Amy McPherson, is an interesting character, and believes all that he hears. Aside from all the religion, the book is mostly focused on socialism and labor unions. The book is filled with pro-socialist views and rhetoric, and it was called Complete Socialist Propaganda by American author Anthony Arthur. Oil was not received well by the American public due to its anti-religious and socialist views. The New York Times gave unfavorable critiques under the notion of the book defiling Christianity. The book was banned in certain places under the guise of having inappropriate content until Sinclair removed certain pages and created the Fig Leaf edition. Overall, Sinclair danced to his own beat and did not care about public opinion, even though he had influenced it greatly. He wrote about whatever he wanted to write about, even controversial topics of socialism and atheism, or things he had no real expertise in, such as psychology and playwriting. Sinclair was a passionate man who was determined to act on his ideas. He ran for office 3 times under the socialist ticket, but failed each time. Despite failing, with all of the anti-socialist fervor across the country during the time period, he had gained quite a sizable amount of votes for a socialist. After all of his hard work and perseverance, he is now one of the most famous American authors.